Hey everyone, my name is Evan, and in this video I will be showing you how I went about building a soundscape for a rehearsal video so that I could remotely show a director of a production I was involved in what I was hoping to accomplish with that scene. We'll be looking at the Pro Tools session, and I'll be showing you track by track what all the different parts are, as well as what I was hoping to accomplish with them. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right in. I want to add a disclaimer before we start that all these sound effects come from my personal database, except for a string glissando, which you'll hear soon. I lifted that from a YouTube video, which has a Creative Commons license on it. Other options would have been to re-record it, find a different file, anything like that. Because this was a test, I wasn't too concerned about it since this was meant to stay private, and I just want to show you what the process was. Alright, so here we are with our Pro Tools session of this video. So this is the video clip that I received of the scene that I was doing a design for. So we have the video up here, as well as the audio from it. There's then a split audio later on to give a radio effect, because we had been talking about making this actor's dialogue recorded and sound like it was going through radio. And I just decided to do that just so we could get the idea of it. Also, when we get to the actual hanging, there's meant to be a blackout, just for your reference. So that would be at this marker here. So just so you can hear it, and you can see a little bit.
Yeah? Well, we'll see about that. No.
And here's where the soundscape would actually be starting. Currently it's off. And if we skip further ahead,
she says,
we can just see that we're looking at what's going on in rehearsal and everything like that. So we had a few ideas when we were talking about this. And one idea that came up was something called shepherd tones. And this is something that is used in the movie Dunkirk. And basically what you do is you have an ascending string pattern, and you overlay them and you bring the volume in and out. And what this can do is can really create this sense of rising tension. But we're going to take that thing, and then with a second one, this isn't as clean as it could be, but we were still early on in the process. And you can kind of hear how there's this continuous, never-ending, rising feeling. So that was one of the first things that I did, because it was an earlier idea that we had, and it was something I really wanted to play with. So I then had that starting point of this rising tension going throughout the whole scene. The next thing I wanted to do was I wanted to add some kind of low-end drone for that, because I felt we needed something going on more constant throughout the whole thing, and those string parts don't really have anything in the very low end of the frequency spectrum. So I did this, which if I hop into the mixer, you just have this very low, there's one that's a string, and there's another that is an organ, and combined they make this kind of low-end rumble. I'm just going to crank these for the sake of hearing everything. Like, obviously we're hardlining this, but I just wanted to try to hear what these are actually doing. I forget what the MIDI notes are, but I just programmed in some MIDI, and it creates this very low-end chord that we now have kind of anchoring the whole scene. So now we have that and the strings doing their thing. So this is kind of the idea of what we have going right now. So that's good and all. But something else that we've been playing with was the sense of having, I wanted something to give a sense of rhythm as well as to have time. Something everyday life that does that is a clock. So I then had this, which I pulled. I think I had this in my sound effect database. And conveniently enough, this sounds like a heartbeat. Not sure if we were going to go with this. We might have changed it. But this, especially with how hangings used to be done, or even executions rather, are very regimented and very specific as to it happens at exactly this day, this time. So I wanted this kind of like as a counting down to the exact moment that this was going to happen. Something else that I added that we were going to be playing with, we might not have been doing it. I don't remember where we left off. I think we were talking about not doing it until the actual hanging happened, was the sound of church bells. So I had this kind of ominous, distant church bell. I think I put a delay on it as well. Yeah, so I have a delay on here. Just simple delay, reverb, a compressor, and an EQ. Nothing crazy. And just the idea was I wanted these to be far away and you can hear the echoing. And it was also to play with this idea of church bells are historically rung on the hour. Maybe this one was slightly off, maybe it was early, maybe it was late. But it was also to go into this whole death/funerals and to tie everything over into that. And it's just, honestly, it's ominous as heck. That was a really cheesy way of putting that. But anyways, we were playing with the sound of it. We might have been changing it. We were also talking about the idea of not having it until the actual hanging happened. I don't remember if I ended up programming that, but yeah. The next sound we have is the actual trapdoor sound effect of the door opening underneath this woman who is standing on the stage. Super simple, just is what it is. I don't even think I altered this at all. I haven't done anything to it. This is raw. And the last thing we had added was to really amp up the creepiness and the fact that this is a hanging is these rope swinging with the body. So you can kind of just hear the rope and you can tell there's a body swaying and spinning a little bit. Definitely more grotesque way to take it, but that's what we decided to do, or that's what we were looking at. And there you have it. That's pretty much everything. Just if you want to see when everything starts, you can't even hear it.
My grand back too.
But right now there's audio playing. So the idea was that this would fade up over the span of about a minute. And I'll end this clip, or I'll end this video with just the whole raw scene, so you can, not the raw scene, but the whole scene, so you can hear the whole thing as it was programmed at the time that, I stopped working on it. Something I should mention too is that you're going to hear the director telling me what the actors are going to be doing. That was just notes for me so that I could be aware of where we were in the scene. Also, finally, what I would be doing realistically with this would be taking each one of these tracks as a separate audio file and bringing that into QLab. Then I would make a group and all of these would be programmed and all the fades would be done in QLab. I wouldn't leave the automation in from Pro Tools because then when we're actually in tech, it would be much more difficult to make changes. This was just to be able to remotely show the director, producer, TD, everyone else involved what I had in mind and to make sure that we were all on the same page. So that's pretty much it.
And I want my $5,000 back too. No.
I'm sorry, Erin. She still says no.
Jesus Christ. Don't she know she'll get convicted?
In the center space.
Uncle Sam Joe, she goes.
Och den fallbottom be tolkni met atalan för
2 feet tall, so it's not as high as that box, but she's going to stand on the box so we get an idea of the picture.
And he wouldn't hang her because she's innocent.
Erin, I think she's telling the truth.
What the hell has innocence got to do with it? Look, Mrs. Martin, this is a court-appointed bid. I don't get anything from this.
So what do you want from me? I've done my best.
Not guilty.
Goddamn foreign hunky nut.
For the accent, Sammy and Uncle Sean.
She says, will Uncle Sam like her?
So at this
I
point, they
don't
all
give a
enter and they start to
goddamn
circle
what she
the island,
says, unless
but they're on the
it's guilty.
floor and she's on the island.
Not guilty.
It's ready, dude.
So I think drum roll is supposed to start here, but this is where, again, right from
Not
that scene, that
guilty.
tension music appears. So it's building.
Not guilty. Not guilty. Uncle Sean.
After 47 years, a Cook County precedent has been shattered. Catherine Hunyak was hanged tonight for the brutal axe murder of her husband. The Hungarian's final words were, "Not guilty." Great, we'll stop there for filming.
I hope you enjoyed this video and you got some insight into how a sound designer might approach building a soundscape, as well as maybe you just enjoyed it and you thought it was cool. Yeah. Stay home, stay safe, and take care.